Welcome to Leadership 3.0, the evolution every leader must make from moving from level 1.0 to level 2.0 to level 3.0. My name is Joel Davis, and in this episode, we're going to highlight how developing yourself personally will drive how you develop professionally as a leader at work. That is why it's called Leadership 3.0, the evolution every leader must make. As you may have seen in our introductory overview podcast, the two development paths of personal U 3.0 and professional purposeful leadership 3.0 are so tightly intertwined, they're practically indistinguishable. I recommend going back and looking at the 12 principles that we talk about in that other podcast, because they're based on what seems to be a natural law, which is how you do one thing is how you do everything. For this podcast, what I'm going to go through is what each leadership level looks like. So level 1, level 2, level 3. We're going to provide you with a general theme that's going on, some truths that are going on, and then how you need to develop personally, professionally, and purposefully at each one of those levels, 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Okay, so with all that background, let's get into it. So section 1 is leadership 1.0. It's the first leadership level where an individual performer has just become a manager. The main theme here is you're going from doing to directing. Leadership 1.0 is where it all starts. This is where you get your first management job, and so you're managing people to do the job they used to do. This really isn't leadership yet. It's supervision, it's administrative, it's task-driven. Here are 5 truths that you'll find at this first leadership 1.0 level. That authority comes from title, not trust. People follow you because they have to. Obviously, you're a first-time leader. You used to be their peer, and now you're in an authority position. So it's going to take some time to trust you. 2, leadership equals technical expertise. You lead by showing people how to do the job like you did it. 3, tasks dominate all conversations. Checklists, status updates, deadlines. That's the entire operating system. 4, personal productivity is still the safety net. When things break, you jump in, you fix it, you do it faster. You'll always act or still act like the top individual contributor that you were. And 5, delegation feels a little bit threatening because your identity was tied to being the expert. So how does U 3.0, how did the leader develop in this stage? Well, the first thing what you want to do is you need to make an internal shift. Okay, so what that means is the first upgrade on a personal level is you're letting go of control. So the first upgrade is emotional, not tactical. You unhook your identity from being the one who does it all or the one who is the best at it to being someone who teaches and trains. Professionally, you're going to learn systems, not just skills. Instead of asking, how do I do it faster? You should start asking, how do I teach this better? How do I build a repeatable process? How do I create a system that alerts me to the problems that might pop up, but lets the people run the business? How can this scale beyond individual acts of heroism? From a purposeful perspective, you start to see yourself as a developer of people, not a doer. Your purpose is no longer just doing the work yourself. Your purpose is training and building others. Okay, so that's the first step, or the first level, level 1.0. Now let's go to level 2.0 as a leader. You know, you are, maybe you've been in the management role a little bit longer and you're starting to move up. Maybe you've got a couple managers who work for you. So leadership 2.0 is a manager who learns the business. You're moving now from directing to driving results. Now, this is where many leaders plateau because they still try to keep managing like they were in leadership level 1.0. But the transition to 2.0 is where you learn to run the business. Here are 5 truths at the leadership 2.0 level. 1, they shift from functional expertise to business expertise. They begin to understand how revenue, margins, process bottlenecks, revenue and customer capacity, systems, processes, programs, all those things work together. 2, they lead through people, not around them. Influence becomes more important than authority. 3, they own performance and results. Their scorecard becomes the team scorecard. 4, they begin to build and protect culture. They realize that culture drives execution and they need to protect it. 5, they either rise or regress. They either elevate into true leadership or they fall back into micromanagement. So, from a U 3.0 level leader, this is how the leader must develop personally, professionally, and purposefully. Personally, they need to build emotional intelligence and self-mastery. You learn to manage stress, uncertainty, conflict, and communication. Your character becomes part of your competence. This is where you start to learn that people won't follow you if you would not follow you. Professionally, you need to build a cross-functional understanding of the business. You don't just know your function, you know how engineering, sales, customer success, finance, product, the list goes on, all connect, all work together. You become more of a business athlete, not just a department or function-specific manager. Now, purposefully, you're going to shift from the my team to our company concept and way of thinking. Your purpose expands. You start leading with a company-first mindset, not a solo-first mindset. This is the first step towards moving to a 3.0 level leader from the 2.0 level that you were on. You're rising from a manager to a business leader. All right, assuming you've made that progression, you now start to operate at a leadership 3.0 level. This is the leader of leaders who builds culture. The leadership theme here is really moving from driving results in level 2 to developing leaders. This is the highest level of leadership, the level where you truly stop managing and truly transform the company through your own personal transformation and your transformation of the teams that you're responsible for. Your leadership, how you run the groups, becomes visible across the entire company because the high performance and high morale of the team is like a spotlight. It's like a beacon in the company. They see what a well-run department looks like. Here are the 5 principles of Leadership 3.0. 1. Culture becomes the operating system. Strategy, structure, systems, processes, programs, all are aligned with people and values. 2. They develop leaders, not just manage their employees. Their success is measured by the leaders they produce. 3. They lead with vision, long-term thinking, and alignment. They protect the future and don't just chase the present. 4. They remove complexity and create organizational clarity. Everyone knows the mission, the rules, the expectations, and the standards. 5. They lead with character, humility, and transparency. This is where influence becomes legacy. Now, at the 3.0 leadership level, this is how you transform personally, professionally, and purposely. Personally, you begin to master identity, integrity, and purpose. You no longer lead from ego, you lead from mission. You become the kind of leader people want to follow. Professionally, you're focused on building systems and scale through others. You architect the operating system, how the strategy, structure, systems, process, programs, incentives, and culture all run. You lead from a high-level altitude, not from the ground level, although you can drop down to the front lines if you need to. Purposefully, you develop leaders who will outgrow you. This is the ultimate purpose of a Leadership 3.0 leader, to build people who transform the company. This is you 3.0. This is Leadership 3.0. This is the highest version of leadership you are meant to become. And again, this is where many men fail, because you must separate your self-esteem, your self-worth, and identity from your title, role, position, and pay within the company. This requires serious, deep work that will take months or quarters or even years. And even when you think you mastered it, the concept will still be a challenge. This is one of the key areas we cover in depth in You 3.0, personally, professionally, and purposefully. You can download the guide, Leadership 3.0, the evolution that every leader must make, level 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0, on our YouTube channel at u3.0.Joel Davis. On the business side, take time to listen to the Founders Leadership Operating System podcast series. This will really help you rise to being a 3.0 leader as a founder, or if you're an early executive, to be in line with the founder's vision and values of the company. If you're responsible for any of the go-to-market functions, also check out the podcast, Leadership 3.0, the Sales Precision Operating System. This is a fantastic review of what you need to do to build out a high-performance, high-morale go-to-market team. One team, one goal. Let's get to work.